What's up, YouTube family? Happy New Year, everybody. I hope you guys are having a great day. I hope your 2025 has started out seamlessly, that you guys are having a good time, working out, being healthy. I also want to know about y'all's New Year's resolutions. If you have any, drop down in the comments. You guys let me know what you guys have been doing for 2025 and how your new year has been, okay? So, for me, I have a lot going on, and I wanted to do an update video for you guys because maybe 3 weeks ago, 3 or 4 weeks ago, I did a video like right before the holiday where I was telling you guys that I'm, in the process of buying a house, how tough it is, how tough it's been, just the real estate market in general with interest rates, low supply of housing in the market, all of that, right? I went in depth with you on how the process is going. So I have an update for y'all. And so I plan to have a little like series, of just as I go along this process. And hopefully it will help you guys who are currently, in the market for buying a home, or also help you if you are thinking about it, okay? So, story time. I told you guys I was looking for a home. So on today is what, January 11th. On January 2nd, I went under contract for a house. Clap, clap, right? Wrong. So 5 days after I went under contract, you guys, I had to back out and void the contract. And so I'm going to tell you guys why. So the whole process was kind of a nightmare, okay? So I think I told you guys, or not I think, I have told you guys that I'm also a real estate agent. So obviously I'm going to be my own agent so that I can get that nice little commission check. So I represented myself in the transaction for the buyer, which is me. And the process just was a whole nightmare. The seller's agent was so terrible. He was terrible, you guys. And those of you who are real estate agents, not every real estate agent is created equal. Some are really, really efficient. Some don't give a damn. Some is just, you have the whole gamut of the types of real estate agents. This one was terrible. I'll tell you why. Number one, from the beginning of the process of me reaching out to him, letting him know I was interested in the property, I was potentially going to put in the offer, he was terrible. Not really very responsive, and then when I put the offer in, guess how long it took him to counter the offer, y'all? So standard, as an agent, if you get an offer, you want to try to counter within at least 72 hours. Normally 48 hours, you want to be on it. I didn't get the counter offer until 9 days later. And granted, I put the offer in on the 20th of December, and granted it was right before the holidays, but again, as a real estate agent, you don't really get no time off. If you have transactions and if you have listings and things, you have to be on point, okay, regardless of it's a holiday. I put in the offer on December 20th, y'all. I had to stay on him to get him to even respond to me with stuff like, hey, did you and your seller look at the offer? Hey, are you going to counter? Hey, if you're not going to counter, let me know so I can keep it moving. Hey, da 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 da. So, very long story short, he finally countered. We went back and forth negotiating. I countered his counter. He countered. I feel like it was so much countering going on with my original offer. Finally, we came to an agreement and we went under contract on the 2nd of January. Now, the house that I put the offer in on, y'all, this house was on the market for 5 months, okay? So it had been sitting there, which there could be a lot of reasons why a house is on the market for whatever. It could be overpriced. There could be several things that are going on with the property. Maybe it's not showing well. Maybe the property went under contract and for whatever reason it came off. It could be a lot of different reasons. So anyway, we go under contract, right? And this is just a word of advice for anyone who is an agent, or specifically if you are looking to buy. Always, always, always put that inspection contingency in there. You should always make sure, even a lot of times for new builds, but especially for a home that someone has already lived in, that, you know, whatever, you need to make sure that you get an inspection. Inspection contingency, I put that in my offer, of course. And you know, once you go under contract, you have to do that inspection pretty quick, because we had a 5-day window, you know, to get the inspection done and make a decision on whether we wanted to back out, whether you want to do repairs, or maybe the inspection's great. So we get the inspection done 2 days after we go under contract. A disaster. Get to the house, the utilities are off, water's off, Washington gas, everything's, the gas was off. And so I had to obviously let the seller know, right? So I contact the seller at the inspection, let him know that, look, we're here and my inspector can't do the inspection because the gas is off, the thermostat's not working, the water's turned off. Even though the water, I had already knew there was an issue with water pressure and stuff. They let me know, the seller's agent let me know that the seller would take care of it. We get to the inspection, issues with the water. So my inspector obviously cannot do the entire inspection because of this, right? And so I get on the phone with the seller's agent. The seller's agent's like, oh, don't worry, don't worry. We're going to, get this taken care of, da-da-da-da-da. Mind you, there is a snowstorm that's on the way. And so I'm like, okay, so what day is the gas company coming to take care of getting the gas back on? I find out that the seller's agent tells me that before the seller put the house on the market, they had a tenant that lived there that hadn't paid the rent for a year and didn't pay the gas bill. So the gas company came and turned it off. So there's a lingering gas bill out there with who knows how much. And that's why the gas was off. So I'm like, well, why would you guys even put this on the market if you haven't taken care of that? That is so irresponsible, ridiculous. Mind you, during the inspection, you guys, the house inside was 45 degrees, which you guys know that presents an issue now, because what's going to happen once the gas is turned on and then you have hot water running through those pipes, the pipes are going to bust. So they were dragging their feet on getting it fixed, or even telling me when the gas company was coming to get it fixed. So, and then, mind you, the seller, it's their responsibility to disclose certain things, right? If there's an issue with the roof, if there's an issue with this, if there's flooding in the house, in the disclosures, you're supposed to talk about that. I find out during the inspection. So my inspector did the inspection minus the things that he needed to check that, had to do with the water and gas. And so I told the seller's agent, if we move forward with this, the inspector's going to have to come out. Inspections are expensive, $500. I'm not paying for that again. So he's like, no, we'll take care of that, if the inspector has to come back out. So he does the rest of the inspection. He finds that there was flooding in the basement, right? There was flooding in the basement that they did not disclose. So then I asked the seller's agent, in addition to that, there was flooding in the basement. What happened? Can you ask the seller? I need to know. Y'all were supposed to disclose that, before we went under contract. Oh, of course. I'm going to find out. Long story less long, because I don't want this to be super lengthy, you guys. You think that he got back to me that day or the next day to tell me about when the gas company was turning back on the utilities, when the water would be fixed, or tell me about the flooding? He did not. So I voided that contract immediately, because a word of advice, if there are issues with the house, with utilities, that is a bad sign. Don't go under contract. And that is, I know better. I really should have once, because I went out to see the house twice before I put an offer on it. I should have checked everything, which I did check the water, but I didn't think to, okay, let me check and see if the heat works. Let me check and see if the air works, because I would have caught that before I even put an offer in it. So just remember that, all you real estate agents, for your clients, make sure that before you even put an offer, you know what's going on with those utilities. So that was a rookie mistake on my part, because I never even would have went under contract. So because an inspection contingency is only 3 to 5 days, I backed out. And the funny part about this, y'all, is literally the day that I voided the contract, that same day the seller's agent put that house back on the market. And so I'm just like, So you wasn't going to make sure that your client took care of those utility issues before. So y'all are just trifling, you and the seller. And I felt like they were hiding something. So that is what happened. I thought I had found my, home that I'd moved my daughter and myself into. And it's just as quick as we went under contract, I canceled the contract, okay? But I have some good news. I'm going to talk about that in another video. I have some good news since then. But yeah, it's hard out here. The housing market is tough. And again, I don't know where you all live. Some are better than others. I know some places like Texas, they have more of a supply, right? And it's obviously more affordable. Where I live is very expensive and the supply is minimal. Specifically in my price range, because I just can't afford $1 million house. You know what I'm saying? Now, if I could afford $1 million home, then, there's lots of great choices, new builds and everything, but I cannot afford $1 million home. I'm trying to stay at or below 500,000. And again, where I live, that's tough because stuff is just expensive. And then if the interest rates were so bad, you guys, I could afford something a little bit more, but these interest rates are crazy and they are just not budging. They budged a little bit at the top of the year, but then when the feds did that last rate cut, it seems like interest rates went up. They did. The short-term rates went down for car loans and credit cards, but for houses, there was an adverse effect and they went up just a little bit. So I'm just hoping, I do believe in 2025 interest rates will go down, and I'm hoping they do drastically, because God willing, I go under contract again soon, then I will refinance at the end of the year. But yeah, it's just tough out here. So I just wanted to give you guys an update on, because I expressed to you guys I was buying a house and let you guys know what's going on. So the house that I initially went under contract with, it fell through. But again, everything happens for a reason. I believe that was God's way of protecting me, and I kind of have some good news, but I'm gonna do another video to talk about that. So if you guys are looking for a house, let me know. Drop down in the comments. Let me know where you guys are in the process, and give me some advice to stay cool, because it is frustrating. You think that you have a great house, then you do an inspection. Thank God for inspection contingencies, by the way. But you do an inspection and then you find out it's a whole mess. So again, if you are looking for a home, before you put an offer in, make sure you know everything you need to know about the condition of the roof, the HVAC, the water heater, how old are they? Make sure you know that the utilities are on. Make sure you check all of those things before you put in an offer. And if the house that you are putting an offer in has a basement, find out if there was flooding in there, and did the seller fix the problem? Whatever created the flooding, did they fix the problem to ensure that it doesn't happen again? Okay? All right, you guys, so I hope you enjoyed this video. Just a little story time about what's going on in my life. Drop down in the comments, please. Let me know you guys' thoughts. Like, subscribe, and share, and I will talk to you all soon. Bye-bye.